The missing witness. It was just past midnight when Detective Lena Morrissey got the call, a call that would unravel the calm surface of a high-profile murder trial and plunge the city into a web of secrecy and deceit. The witness, Jacob Harrow, the linchpin of the prosecution's case in the brutal murder of Elena Voss, had vanished without a trace the night before the verdict was to be delivered. His disappearance threatened not only the trial's outcome but the very notion of justice itself. Jacob Harrow was no ordinary witness. A low-level employee at Voss's once thriving art gallery, he had stumbled onto a complex plot that led to the murder. A plot implicating some of the city's most influential figures. His testimony promised to expose greed, blackmail, and betrayal that ran deeper than anyone suspected. As the prosecution prepared for victory, no one expected Jacob to simply disappear, leaving behind only unanswered questions. Lena arrived at Jacob's apartment, a modest but tidy studio in a rundown neighborhood on the city's eastern edge. The door was unlocked, a subtle but alarming sign. Inside, nothing was out of place, no signs of struggle, no indication of a hurried departure. His coat hung neatly on the rack by the door, and his phone was plugged in on the kitchen counter, buzzing intermittently with incoming messages. Whoever took Jacob had been fastidious, leaving no immediate trace. She dialed the number of Lieutenant Mark Henderson, her partner on the case. "We've got a potential abduction," she said grimly. "The witness is missing. No signs of a break-in, and his phone is still here." Mark's voice was steady, but the tension underlying his words was palpable. "I'll mobilize a team. Let's go over the trial transcripts and list of threats. The usual suspects might be getting desperate." Lena stared out the grimy window, the city skyline blurred by intermittent drizzle. The courtroom drama that had captivated the city suddenly felt closer, more personal. Jacob had confided in her once, during a brief recess weeks ago, about being scared. "They're watching," he had whispered, a cold shiver in his voice. Who were they? The powerful art dealer accused of orchestrating Elena's murder? Or someone even further removed, pulling strings from the shadows? The day before, the courtroom buzzed with anticipation. Prosecutor Helen Klein had confidently laid out the evidence, with Jacob's testimony serving as the keystone. He had described a clandestine meeting involving the accused, a secret transaction gone wrong, culminating in the fatal confrontation. The defense had tried to discredit him but failed to shake his account. The jury appeared convinced, the judge stern yet fair, and the press hungry for the verdict. Now, with Jacob gone, the entire case teetered on collapse. Lena's first move was to retrace Jacob's steps over the past 48 hours. She interviewed colleagues, friends, and even a handful of shadowy figures who frequented the gallery's neighborhood. Each person painted a picture of a diligent, nervous man who had kept to himself in recent days. The gallery had been closed for renovations, and Jacob spent most evenings at home or in the local diner, where staff confirmed he'd had a quiet last meal 2 nights ago. Yet, fragments of discomfort surfaced. A waitress mentioned an unidentified man lingering near Jacob's usual booth, watching intently. A neighbor reported hearing raised voices from the apartment late at night, though unable to identify the speakers. Lena took note. Both could fit into a larger narrative. Digging deeper into Jacob's digital life, Lena discovered a deleted file on his laptop, obscured by an encryption tool. With the help of cyber specialist Quinn, the file was recovered. A series of emails between an anonymous correspondent warning Jacob to stay silent, paired with photos documenting a clandestine meeting in an abandoned warehouse. The images showed Jacob confronting a figure whose face was deliberately shadowed, but whose hand bore a distinctive ring, a serpent entwined around a ruby. Could this shadowy individual be behind his disappearance? The investigation soon uncovered that the Serpent Ring was a symbol linked to a secret society rumored to have infiltrated corporate and political spheres for decades. Its members manipulated events from behind the curtain, ensuring their interests remained protected. Could the murder of Elena Voss, and by extension, Jacob's testimony, be threatening to expose their grip on the city? Pressure mounted as the media caught wind of the missing witness. Speculation ran rampant. Had Jacob fled out of fear, or was he silenced? In the corridors of justice, whispers turned to accusations, and the court demanded answers. Lena's breakthrough came when a surveillance camera from a nearby gas station captured a faded sedan pulling up near Jacob's apartment around 1 a.m. The driver's face was obscured, but the license plate was partially visible. With painstaking pixel enhancement, the team traced it to a rental agency, revealing a name: Dennis Crowley, a name familiar from the trial. He was Elena's estranged business partner and a person of interest. Confronting Crowley was dangerous. Lena and Mark found him at a dilapidated warehouse near the docks, an area known for illicit dealings. Crowley greeted them with a cold smile, eyes darting nervously. Denying any involvement in Jacob's disappearance, he claimed ignorance, almost daring the detectives to prove otherwise. But when Lena pressed him about the Serpent Ring, his composure flickered. Crowley admitted to being part of an exclusive club, but insisted it was harmless, a fraternity of art collectors and enthusiasts. Lena wasn't convinced. Something darker lurked beneath his polished facade. Amid the cat-and-mouse game with Crowley, a new lead arrived. A ransom note slipped under Lena's car windshield. It demanded the prosecution drop the case in exchange for Jacob's life. The note was unsigned but hinted at insider knowledge, referencing case files only someone close to the trial team would have. The detectives realized the threat wasn't random but targeted and sophisticated. Faced with this, prosecutor Helen Klein refused to back down. Instead, she went public, vowing to see justice served no matter the cost. Jacob's absence transformed the entire case. Witnesses grew wary, jurors anxious, but the clock ticked closer to the verdict. Amid the chaos, Lena received a cryptic tip from an anonymous caller directing her to an abandoned motel on the outskirts of town. The caller promised Jacob was alive but swiftly ended the call. Sneaking into the motel at dusk, Lena and Mark found a dimly lit room. Inside, Jacob Harrow sat slumped in a chair, bruised but conscious. Relief and determination surged through the room as they untied his bindings. Jacob disclosed that he'd been taken by men associated with the secret society, intended to silence him permanently. His captors had warned that further testimony would mean death not just for him, but also for those who sought the truth. He provided names, connections, and evidence previously concealed, revealing a conspiracy that stretched into law enforcement, politics, and the upper echelons of the art world. With Jacob safe and the new evidence in hand, Lena and the prosecution prepared to dismantle the corrupt network behind Elena's murder. The trial continued, more explosive than ever, culminating in a verdict that sent shockwaves through the city. Justice prevailed, not through silence and intimidation, but through courage and unyielding pursuit of the truth. The missing witness was found, the guilty exposed, and the city's fragile peace restored, at least for now. Like and subscribe for more stories.